Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Antony Carpen here at Waterbeach Baptist Church, and we've just had the first of a series of hustings here to become the Member of Parliament for South East Cambridgeshire, and I'm here with one of the candidates. It's Lucy Nethsingha for the Liberal Democrats. Hello, Lucy.
Hi, Antony.
What was your first impression of the hustings that we've just had?
I was really pleased that so many people came. It's a horrible wet evening, and I'm delighted that so many people turned out to come and ask us questions. And it was a very friendly atmosphere with some disagreements among the audience and among the panellists and candidates for the parliamentary seat, as you would expect, but it was all very civilised.
So what in particular did residents raise with you? What questions did they want to ask you about?
Well, Brexit came up, obviously, and I would have expected that, and quite a lot of discussion about the impact of leaving the European Union on local industries and particularly on EU residents who were already here. So I would have expected that to come up, and it did. It's something that I'm very concerned about, and so were a lot of local residents.
And you also
NHS and schools, those are clearly things that people are very worried about in this election, and rightly so. So the Conservatives have been talking a lot about the amount of money as a global figure that they're putting into schools funding, and what that number simply doesn't reflect are both the increase in pupil numbers that we're facing in Cambridgeshire and the impact of increasing costs on schools. So I find it very disingenuous that they are saying that school funding is going up when as a global figure it may be going up, but actually per pupil funding is going down. So I think that the thing that didn't come up until right at the end, and perhaps I would have expected to come up earlier, was local transport issues. So they did come up right at the end, but actually the majority of questions were on other issues.
And again, there was another disagreement across the panel with the A10. What's the issue there with the A10 coming north into Cambridge?
Well, there's been a lot of talk from the Conservatives about improving the A10, and I can understand why they would want to do that. There are some safety issues on the A10 which I do think are important, but my concern is that by simply building more roads, bringing more cars to the edge of Cambridge, all we do is have people sitting in traffic jams for longer. You don't need to spend very much time travelling around the edge of Cambridge at peak time, but actually at lots of other times, to realise that the congestion that you hit when you get there is consistent, and that actually building more roads, bringing the cars in faster to hit those queues is not going to help anybody. There was quite a lot of talk about railways, and that those are a really critical part of trying to solve Cambridge's transport problems. I'm really pleased that the improvements in railways are coming up the political agenda. I think that's excellent. It's something that the Liberal Democrats have been campaigning on for a long time. Julian Huppert will tell you about how long he's been campaigning for Cambridge North Station. Yes, I'm very supportive of the idea that we need to have new railways. We need some actual action on that rather than just words.
And finally, one thing that also came up at the end was getting more young people to vote.
Yeah.
It was something that we saw cross-party agreement with last night in South Cambridge. I wondered if you've got anything further to add to that?
Well, I think all politicians always want everybody to be interested in what we do. There is, I think, increasing recognition that there are unfairnesses in this country that are being exacerbated by the fact that that more older people tend to vote and younger people don't tend to vote. And I do think it's tremendously important that we convince young people that actually, if they do go out and vote, they can make a difference. And we talked a little bit about in the hustings about the Liberal Democrat policy of allowing 16-year-olds to vote, and how that might make it easier for people to get involved in politics, because their first vote would be in the place where they grew up and the place that they understood and felt that they were able to have a say in. So I think that would be very desirable.
Lucy Nethsingha, thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you.